Hello everybody and welcome back to Drunk on Wanderlust. It's time to start yet another trail, and here I am up in Pendle in the lovely Sabden at the very start of the Pendle Witches Way. This one's going to be an interesting one. Let's have a quick look at the route.
The Pendle Witches Way is a 46-mile hiking trail that starts in Sabden and ends in Lancaster. The first part of the walk is centred on locations around Pendle Hill, which were associated with the Pendle Witches. It then passes through the Ribble Valley and the Forest of Bowland, which was the route taken by the accused before they were executed in Lancaster. Our adventure starts at the Pendle Witch pub in Sabden. Unfortunately, it wasn't open this early, so we set straight off, excited to find out more.
I got Paddyham's resident expert with me on this one.
Hello!
Mr. Johnny Tempeg. He is going to be showing us the best place to pitch up and wild camp up on Pendle Hill a little bit later on. Lovely, lovely.
Hello, I'm Tina, a Sabden resident, and this is the parish church, St Nicholas of Sabden. Fantastic place here in the countryside. Come and take a visit. Bye for now, Tina.
Yes, a big thanks to Tina for her cameo performance. We literally just met her as we walked past, but you know what? She's a natural. Just then, we were hit by a familiar and overpowering smell.
Now we're going to walk down Cowshit Lane. Usually it's ankle deep, but it don't look that bad, so fingers crossed. And you can already smell the aroma, can't you, Kerry?
Sure can.
We trotted off down the aptly named Cowshit Lane, heading towards the next village on the trail.
This is called the Hidden Valley. It's quite a good phenomenon when it comes to glacial activity. I believe it can be quite rare, and it stretches from Blackall right down to Whalley, and it is a bit of a jewel in the crown if you're a geologist. The Hidden Valley.
Now, I'm not going to lie, most of that went over my head. But it was great having a local join me on this adventure. Johnny was full of interesting facts and stories. And as we walked towards Higham, he filled me in with the story of the Pendle Witches. The story focuses on two rival Pendle families, led by two widows, Demdike and Old Chattocks, whose very existence depended on exaggerating the cures they offered to the local villagers. But this would prove to be their undoing. In March 1612, a man collapses to the ground, paralysed. His name is John Law, a pedlar from Halifax. Apparently, Demdike's granddaughter, Alison Device, has cursed him for not giving her the metal pins she had asked for.
How are you getting on?
All right, yeah, not bad, enjoying it.
Taking a quick breather.
Taking a quick breather.
The paralysed pedlar's son hauled Alison in front of the local magistrate. And Alison, overawed and confused by the situation, confesses to witchcraft and incriminates the two widows, Demdike and her local rival, Old Chattocks.
This is Higham village, and this is where we're heading towards.
The two widows were interrogated at Ashlar House, and perhaps wishing to enhance their local reputation and not really realising the consequences, they told wild and fascinating stories of meeting the devil and selling their souls. Needless to say, this landed them on trial for witchcraft at Lancaster Castle.
So here we are taking a cheeky beer stop in Higham at the Four Alls Inn. Now this pub was actually mentioned in the Pendle Witch story. Apparently one of the witches, Chattocks, was accused of turning the ale sour in this very pub.
Luckily, on this occasion, the ale tasted fine.
Hi guys, we're now at the next village on the Pendle Witch Way fence. This is where Old Chattocks lived. Not only that, when they was all gathered together, they was brought here to Ashlar House to be interned, waiting for the trials.
Now, the Demdike and Device families were infuriated by the arrests and called a secret meeting to hatch a plan to free the imprisoned women and blow up Lancaster Castle. But the magistrate found out and sent a constable to investigate. The meeting was rumbled, and the constable also found stolen human teeth and bones at the property, along with a clay voodoo image. Everybody there was arrested for witchcraft and imprisoned in Lancaster Castle.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit of a climb up there. But as you can see, look at the views we're getting today, absolutely stunning. There's quite a lot of elevation on this trail in not very many days, so just be warned. But we've got the big one coming up, of course, which is gonna be Pendle Hill.
Sorry about the heavy breathing in that clip. It wasn't Darth Vader, it was Johnny Tempeg wheezing after the climb. But who was present at the meeting? We had Elizabeth and James Device, Catherine Hewitt, Jane and John Bulcock, and Isabel Roby, and of course, Alice Nutter.
So we've just walked past Tynedale Farm. That was owned and still owned to this day from the Nutter family. So Alice Nutter, once of a day, resided at that farm.
Now, unlike everyone else that was arrested, Alice Nutter was a member of a wealthy family and the only member who protested her innocence throughout the whole trial. Her life and death are commemorated by a statue in the village of Ruthley, which was commissioned in 2012.
Well, I've got to say, we are being extraordinarily lucky with the weather today. Early autumn, and it feels like summer. Beautiful. Gorgeous.
We took a quick break to soak up the view before tackling the last stretch to get to the village of Newchurch. So far, so good. An interesting backstory, complemented by some beautiful scenery. We were having a lovely time. And just then, Johnny told me there was something interesting I had to see, so I followed him into the graveyard. Mwahahaha!
Right, so we've come to Newchurch Church in Newchurch.
Well done.
And this is Alice Nutter's memorial. She wasn't allowed to be buried in here because it was consecrated ground, but because her mum and dad were quite wealthy, they could put something in the church grounds. And this is it. There's a bit of conflicting history about it, but word on the street is this was for Alice Nutter.
Ooh, spooky stuff. Also, on the side of the church wall, you can find the Eye of God, painted to ward off evil spirits.
And here we are in the Newchurch churchyard, where the Device family, who were tried for witchcraft, actually admitted stealing teeth from the graves to use in their witchcraft.
Now, all this history was thirsty work, and we were looking forward to the next pub stop. But there was one last place we had to visit in Newchurch before we left. Oh yes, the famous Witches Galore souvenir shop. A lovely little store where you can find everything witch related, and if you're in the area, please go check it out. It's so cute. We headed on towards the village of Barley. I could see Pendle Hill looming in the distance. Legend has it, it's haunted up there, so we thought a little Dutch courage was needed before our wild camp tonight.
There he is, Mr. Tent Peg.
Let's do this.
Yeah, where are we heading?
Up there,
To where?
top of Pendle Hill, the summit.
But where before?
Oh, the pub, of course.
Of course, the pub. And not just any pub. The famous Pendle Inn, which I've been told serves some wonderful food as well. But for now, we were here for the beer.
So we are sat just outside the pub, about to do the big climb up Pendle Hill. It's 558 metres, and apparently it's pretty much straight up, is that right?
That's right, yeah. This is basically Pendle Inn and Barley is the base camp for the Pendle Hill Big End, as it's called, or steps. But there used to be steps there, so really, if you know you're Pendle Hill, it's the Big End. We're going to go up, straight up.
Big End, apparently. Hat's gone on, lucky hiking hat.
I've got this on because it'll get windy out there.
Yeah,
and
temperature's already
will drop.
dropped. And yeah, wish us luck. I'll do a bit of filming on the way up. I think it's going to be a bit of a...
Arse blower.
That's the word I was looking for?
Yeah.
Right, catch you in a bit.
See you later, guys. All them guys that do.
How good's it going to be?
Really, really, really good this. I'm really looking forward to it.
Now this sign made us laugh.
He's right. It does make sense.
Yes.
Before we do the climb, I'd like to quickly tell you about my new small business. If you're a hiking enthusiast that also cares about the environment, please check out my website, officiallysmashedit.com. I'm hand making zero plastic souvenirs for any UK hiking trail or mountain. And with every sale, I donate a percentage towards planting new trees, which is perfect if you want to celebrate your hiking achievements, but also have a positive impact on climate change. Check it out, guys, officiallysmashedit.com.
It's Johnny, tent peg. How are we getting on?
Let's do this. We're just on the approach to it. It's a short, sharp shock. Once we get to the top, you'll be happy.
Say that again.
It's a short, sharp shock.
That's the one.
But even the approach to it is a decent incline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had already walked around 10.5 miles of the trail today, so having this climb right at the end was going to be a bit tiring. And for all of you eager to hear the rest of the Pendle Witch story, I'll tell you about the actual trial and execution in part 2. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and of course if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. The steps heading up to Pendle Hill started pretty gently, but as always, it was difficult on my knees. I always think it's easier climbing up just a grassy bank than tackling any kind of steps.
I can't lie. This is a bit of a killer. We're about maybe halfway up, maybe not quite.
About halfway, I reckon.
Yeah.
Maybe about a third.
It's hardcore. Just pre-warning you.
We took a minute to catch our breaths and admire the view.
This is the climb that never ends. I'm done in. But the views are epic.
We were almost at the top and Johnny had told me about a fresh spring, so we went to check it out. Pendle Hill in this spring were the subject of religious inspiration for George Fox, who had a vision on the hill which inspired him to found the Quaker movement.
So this is why you don't have to bring water up to the summit of Pendle.
Wow, look at that.
You've got a tankard in there.
Yeah.
So the idea is you drop the lid, tankard fills up.
Yeah.
But with water we've been having, it's not half as deep as what it should be. So the tankard's not working, so it looks like we're going to have to get us on his hands and knees and dig in.
Let's do it.
We also found out our wild camping location for the night at the summit of Big End was actually the site of a Bronze Age burial mound. There were also legends that the site was haunted by the spirits of the Pendle Witches. So how did we get on? Join us in part 2 to find out.